Hey, this is Brad, Jack of All Ventures. Just threw together a video that took a lot longer than I thought, actually, on how you can avoid ending up in a tow truck the way the guy with the Model X did in my video from a year and a half ago. That's just getting quite a bit of popularity. If you stick through this video, you'll see it's definitely real world. It kind of made a mistake getting to the charger at the end because of the construction, and I kind of had to take over. Sometimes you have to use your own brain still. With technology, you can't just let it do everything for you. But yeah, take a look at it. You can see really how well you can monitor exactly how much electricity you're consuming and know if you're going to make it to your destination or not, and stay off a tow truck. So let me know what you think. All right. Tesla is estimating I need 25 more minutes of charge to continue on my trip. And then it says down here I got 2% battery left when I make it to my next supercharger. If I hit the screen here, it's going to calculate the energy for me. And usually it's a little quicker than this, but it's definitely doing some thinking. So we'll let it do some thinking. Maybe I'll pause it if it's going to think too long. Well, it's still thinking, but if you look up here, it says it's going to take me 2 hours and 7 minutes to drive 123 miles, which actually is not that far and a long time to drive that far. So I'm going to disconnect now and see what actually happens. All right, well, I had to fudge things around to make this happen, and because it wanted to change my supercharger stop, so I'm still going to try to make it to this one. And I just clicked on taking away the supercharger, and it's still anticipating I get there with 3%. And then, so I'm going to look at this graph. It's anticipating I'm getting there with 3%. And I'm going to do something simple here, is I'm just going to slow down. I'm going to get in the right line and slow down to 70 mile an hour. And then we'll do a little math when I come back online here and see how much this thing changes when I just slow down to 70 mile an hour. I didn't charge anymore, from the last video, so we'll see if it's quicker to just slow down and not charge quite as much. So I've kind of already driven 20 miles, and from actually when I finally got around to changing the navigation around to make this happen. And I was driving at 79 to get this far, so I'm still actually doing pretty good on the energy wise, but I'd like to get this to come up a little bit, so I'm just rethinking it already. I'd like to get there with 5%, so I'm not like overly stressed. And this actually goes really good with my video from a year and a half ago, where this guy ran his battery all the way down, and he didn't slow down. And if you slow down to 50 mile an hour, you can really extend your range. We're just working here, slowing down to a reasonable amount to help extend our range. So it's still saying 3%, and I think I crossed the line into Georgia. I was hoping to get the welcome to Georgia sign. I got the goodbye Florida sign, but not. I missed the goodbye Florida sign, but didn't get the welcome to Georgia sign. But see, and here's what it does too. It says stay below 70 miles to reach your destination. So I mean, it warns you. It tells you slow down, and that actually goes away because it'll come and go because it feels safe that we're going to make it at 3%. So, but like I said, we're over 100 miles out, so we can watch the graph and monitor it, and then make changes accordingly. If we're, if this bumps all the way up to 10%, we can speed back up and go a little faster. I'm gonna do the math off camera, just how much time it takes, how much time you lose driving 70 instead of 79 mile an hour. Look at this already. We're up to 8%, and we're only like 17 miles into this. So I've already gained 3% of the battery, or actually 5% of the battery, because it started estimating us out at 3%. Just simply slowing down to 70 mile an hour, which is going to cost us 10 minutes on the last 98 miles of this trip. I'm already gaining, you know, and 5% of the battery will take me another 10 miles. And in this my particular car. So, I mean, 10 more miles of range is quite a bit. Keep you off that tow truck, that's for sure. And then for this, to be fair to the guy last year in my video, I mean, there wasn't near as many chargers. I'm going to show you, and click on here, and there's chargers. Actually, why is it not showing them? There's usually they're adding chargers all the time. I mean, if I was really worried about it, you know, I could stop here at this charger. It's a little bit of a stretch now, but it's not that far between those two chargers. But I bet you I don't know why it's not showing this. It used to do a better job of showing all the chargers in between. Why is it not showing them? Maybe there isn't any. All right, well, I played a little bit. I guess it's probably 60 miles with no chargers between Brunswick and Savannah, which actually this far south, it kind of surprises me that they don't have any other chargers for 60 miles or 50 miles or whatever that is there. But you know, it's getting still 60 miles is not very far for electric car to travel from the two. Even pulling a trailer with my older, smaller battery, I should easily be able to make 60 miles between chargers, which you can stay tuned. In a couple weeks, I'm going to be pulling a little enclosed trailer down here to Florida, so I'm sure I'll make a video on that. I want to point this out. This says there's 21 open chargers here in Brunswick, and then up here, you know, there's going to be 7 where we're going in Polar, and 4 at this other charger that's just a little bit off the interstate. So yeah, it's what I was mentioning earlier too. Is a year and a half ago, when the guy did get stuck on a flatbed, there wasn't as many chargers. So I mean, Tesla is really growing their supercharging network. So then you had to plan a little bit more ahead or push it. But I guarantee you, you know, wherever his last charger was, he's got 100 kilowatt hour battery on his X that he got stranded in, and mine's only a 70 kilowatt hour, so I got like 70% of the range that guy had. So he was definitely, and it was September when the weather wasn't all that bad in Ohio, so the weather will affect your range. That's just a fact of electric cars. And if you live in the north, which you should consider not getting an electric car and sticking with a ICE vehicle more than somebody that lives in the south. If you live in Florida, there's not much excuse for you not to get an electric car. But if you're in Ohio, maybe you should. Anyways, let's look back at this energy graph. Look at us now. I mean, we're all the way up to 10% extra, so we're doing really good. I'm actually going to take and bump this back up to, I don't know why I like 79, but bump it back up to 79, and we'll watch this change. It'll go down. I mean, the car will tell you what your range is pretty well, so there's no excuse for it really. All right, here we go. We've gone a ways here. Now, I don't know if you can see the little change in the line. We're still doing really well. We're anticipating having 7%, so we've dropped down from the 9% since we sped back up. And if you really want to geek out on this stuff, you can go there over the consumption. And since we're relatively flat ground, you can see right here, we were consuming about this much average watt hours per mile, which is actually like an inverse of, you know, it's like energy per mile instead of miles per gallon is like energy per gallon. Or, you know, miles per gallon is miles per unit energy. If you want to figure a gallon of gas is a unit of energy. But see the graph. So about 20 miles ago is when I sped it up to 80 mile an hour. And so we were doing about here at 70 mile an hour. We're using this much more at 80 mile an hour. If we can back this off to the last 15 miles, which this is all while we were doing 80 mile an hour. And you can see, like, when you go uphill, you consume more. When you go downhill, you consume less. I mean, it's all, and you know, we're relatively flat out here. So, you know, it's, if you go in the mountains, it's really fun to watch this graph. I mean, I did Mount Washington, and I really wish I would have put a video up on that. Next time I do it, I'm going to make a really good video, because, you know, the whole way up, you're sucking power like crazy. It's off the charts. Well over 900. I mean, it's like 12 or 1500 as you're going uphill, and then the whole way back down, it's just recharging the whole way down. I got to the bottom and I had fun. I stuck my finger on the brake rotor at the overheating brake station and pretend like I was going to get my finger burned, and the guy was watching me do it, and he's like, and I stuck my finger and I held it on there. He's like, no way, because he watched me come down the mountain, and then he went and he touched it, and he couldn't believe it. But we didn't use the brakes the whole way down. You know, it was regenerative braking and putting electric back in the motor, so, or in the battery. So I mean, these are the advantages of electric cars. I know you guys like to bash them, but I mean, you don't have to do all this effort of like playing with things. Like here, you can see we're going downhill now a little bit, and we dropped back off. We kind of went uphill earlier, so yeah, you don't have to do all this stuff, but you can do it. That's the big point. And the guy that got himself stranded, he didn't do any of this. He didn't even slow down. He knew he was below zero, and he just kept driving. And you know, it's how many people would really do that if you're responsible? Not many. I mean, I'm sure he probably didn't know how to do all this type of stuff. I mean, I geek out of this stuff, and I kind of play with it quite a bit. So there we kind of got noisy road now, so I don't know how well you can hear, but we'll monitor this the rest of the way to the supercharger. I mean, clearly, not every case is exactly the same. I mean, they wanted me to stay there for another 25 minutes, and I'm not really sure why. So I'm saving 25 minutes off my trip. And again, too, you might be listening to this and saying, all this time at the charger, you got to remember, this car is 5 years old, over 5 years old. The newer ones charge so much faster. Double to triple, probably sometimes triple the speed. And I think a lot of it, I don't put it past Tesla to sell my charging speed even more, because I'm getting it free, because I got free unlimited supercharging. So they probably want to discourage me from supercharging and make me go do it at home. And most of the time, if I'm close to home, I don't waste my time at a supercharger. But sometimes I get a little free energy if I'm on my way home and passing a charger, which they've added in the last couple years. It's not too far from home that I pass by. Sometimes I'll stop in there for half an hour and get $4 or $5 of free electric, but usually not. All right, quick update here as we're getting closer to the end. I'm currently at 15% state of charge. It's anticipating I'll have 5 when I get there. It's anticipating I'll get to the charger at 114, which originally, you know, when we started this video, it was guessing 138, which look, it just dropped down to 113 again, which is exactly 25 minutes more than or you know, less than what I'm making it here now, which is, it was anticipating that time being stuck at the charger, still charging, and I unplugged it and left because I kind of could foresee that I thought I could probably make it. And then if I had any trouble, which I'm actually surprised doing as good as I'm doing, I would have just slowed down and made sure that I made it, and that would have been much smarter than spending all that extra time charging. 25 minutes to top it off, that little bit of extra that it wanted me to stay there. Not really sure why it was wanting me to do that. There's somebody pulling out in front of me, which is slowing us down. Anyway, it was wanting me to do that. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't really say that, and that might be it. just charging me extra slow because I get free supercharging. I really wouldn't put it past them, because that's pretty slow charging speed just to top it off for enough to make it to the next charger. But yeah, it's looking like it's making it easier, and I'm saving some time. We'll find out once I get there. All right, we're letting autopilot do the driving for this last little bit too, as much as I possibly can. So I'm easily making it. Well, shoot. For some reason, it dropped us way down to 2%. That makes no sense at all. Or did I? I don't know why. Huh. I'm letting it do the driving and make the decisions, and this might be a bad move at the moment. Why is it's all this construction, and it's probably got it confused, and I was just taking a phone call out and pay attention to what was going on. And now we're doing this under. I'm actually going to switch on the fly. We're going to this charger right here. I'm switching to that charger because I don't know if the construction made it. Oh man. Well, this is kind of weird. I don't know if construction made us nuts. What the heck is going on? Yeah, this is acting really strange. Well, there's a charger's there. I'm just going to drive there. I've never seen it have whatever the heck it's thinking of doing. It's still trying to make us go to that one. This one's going to be more convenient now. So, which actually, I've been here. Traffic here is insane. If it's the one I'm thinking. Maybe the traffic issues are going to be so bad. Well, no, there's no traffic at the moment. I doubt the traffic's going to be an issue. I'm going to force a left turn and go hit another supercharger. But for now, I'm going to let it's still doing the driving and getting off on this exit and doing all the driving for me. So we'll need to turn left up here. And I'll just take over. It's one thing, too. A lot of people thought, I could never let my car do the driving. You're really not letting it do the driving. You're in full control. You can take over at any moment. So you're way better off letting a computer drive your car than you are your teenager. Because if you let your teenager drive, you're sitting in the passenger seat, and if you don't like what they're doing, you can't do anything about it. But with the Tesla, you can do it. So I don't know. I'm completely overriding what it wants to do. I've never seen it act like this for me, which is one thing that does suck a little bit about the technology, because it's like your cell phone. It don't always act consistent anymore. Cool here, it's showing that there's the usually busy times here for the supercharger, and now it's showing 7 stalls available, which it's not as busy as it is often. 7 out of 8 stalls are available, so it's gonna be wide open. Well, I've never had it act like that. It's still acting strange, and chargers are right over there. So it now shows 6 stalls available, and there are 2 Teslas here now. All right, it'll get out. And we made it with 9 miles of range, which is about 5%, just like it was saying. And we're plugged in. That'll turn green and we'll be good to go. All right, well, this is my trip home from Ohio. I'm just gonna finish this video up here. It says I should be home at 6:26 a.m. with all the supercharging it's got planned for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops. Cambridge, Ohio is actually where that that Tesla was on the flatbed a year and a half ago. But I don't think I'm going to be able to make that time. I mean, that's going to be me just sleeping at superchargers and driving all night long. And depends if I feel sleepy or not, if I'll sleep or keep going. But I might just sleep while charging and try to make that time. I'll let you know make another video, let you know if I made it or not. But I'm out for now. Hopefully this will end up being a pretty long video, but it's definitely some real-world Tesla experience of what you can do if you really want to play with it and see how far you go and how fast you go and all of that. So if you like it, please subscribe to my channel and look for some more videos. For now.